In today's episode, Vincent asked the question, what is the one or two secrets that you would never give away in a tweet or YouTube video that are insider trading stuff, but for marketing, the marketing stuff that works really well, but you only use for yourself or your best clients? Well, it is kind of funny since this is a YouTube video, but I feel comfortable saying that a lot of the stuff that I reserve for Trust Insight's best clients and things is all on the machine learning front, because for people who are customers of Trust Insights, they are or have demonstrated a willingness, a readiness, and an ability to engage a lot of the machine learning technology that other companies sometimes aren't ready for a variety of reasons. And the secret sauce isn't necessarily the technologies themselves. It's how you use them. So the closest analogy that I give to this is cooking implements, right? You have frying pans, you have spatulas, you have ingredients and things. And it's not that you can just use anything, because you can't. You have to use good ingredients. You have to use a minimum quality of pots and pans, a minimum quality spatula. You can't you can't have a spatula made of cheap plastic that just melts the moment it touches a pan. You have to have some level of quality. But once you get past that minimum level of quality, it's all about the recipe, and it's all about the talent of the cook. The same is true for marketing technology. You do have to have a minimum level of quality for your vendors, for the tools that you're working with. But honestly, most tools these days are pretty good. There's some crappy ones out there, but generally speaking, once you get beyond a certain minimum level of quality, once you get beyond a certain minimum budget level, right? You get what you pay for still very much applies to marketing technology tools. Then it becomes about you, your team, your knowledge, your skills, your process, and how you do things. That becomes your secret sauce. So when Vincent asks, what's the insider secrets? The insider secrets are, in a lot of cases, the code that I write on top of machine learning tools and software. So there's a really fantastic library, for example, that Facebook released called FastText. FastText is a vectorization library, which means that it looks at not just how many words are in a piece of text, but then what are the relationships of one word to another? How close are they? I'm working on a piece right now for employment, looking at the words that people use in reviews of their companies. And older approaches, like they're called bag of words approaches, are okay for at least understanding like what's in the box, but they don't do as good a job of understanding how words relate to each other. So there's a difference linguistically between somebody saying, what was the example from the other day? I'm trying to remember who said it. Between saying something is shit and saying something is the shit, right? Mild profanity. And those are very different expressions. And so being able to use sentiment libraries and things, you may not necessarily pick that up. But if you're using an algorithm that like vectorization, you can detect those phrases or those clusters of words and phrases together. Now, FastText is the library. It is the pan, if you will, or the spatula. How you use it and how you integrate it with the other things in the recipe is where the secret is, if you will. Vectorization is a very powerful tool, but by itself, it's not super helpful. You need to chain it to other things. Vectorization gives you word and phrase level insights. Now, what do you do with that? Then you would use that you'd use it to help you code text faster. So, for example, if I have 6,000 reviews to go through, if I can use vectorization to analyze and say, okay, these are the words and phrases that are key to these specific topics, like pay and salary or benefits or culture or management, then I can use that to tag and annotate each review and say, like, hey, this is a review that mentions pay, that mentions benefits, and in all of the incarnations. So like just take a look here at some of the tags I'm using. So for benefits, terms like healthcare, health plan, maternity, paternity, vacation, charitable, retirement, tuition, pension, holidays, voluntary time off. All of these are things that are connected to benefits, and you wouldn't necessarily know that just by looking at an older version of a bag of words, but by seeing these are the terms that are most closely related to benefits. You can tag these reviews and get a much greater look at the text than you could have otherwise. So that's the secret sauce, to the extent that there is any. That's the recipes. It's the recipe book. It's the cookbook that is the secret. And that's one of the reasons why machine learning, I think, is so powerful and so difficult for people to get their heads around. Because part of the machine learning process is when you're building models, the model itself then becomes a tool. So imagine, there's no good analogy for this, because when you're cooking, you never manufacture, like your frying pan doesn't automatically manufacture a spatula. But that's essentially what's happening in machine learning, is that the frying pan is being fed enough data and is intelligent enough that it can spawn new tools that help you do stuff even better and even faster. And those models themselves are also part of the secret sauce for companies that are using machine learning in a more advanced way. There's a set of laws that Bill Shamarzo, formerly of VMware and Dell, and now I believe he's over at Hitachi, but he calls them the laws of digital transformation. And as much of a buzzword as that is, there is still value to law. I think it's law number 2, which says that part of digital transformation is the development of these byproducts as you do machine learning or AI or whatever. These byproducts become products in and of themselves. So as I build this employment model, that model itself is now a data product, a digital product, something that we can go to other customers and reuse the model. We don't reuse the customer's data. Each customer's data is kept quarantined, but the model it's built on can be reused over and over again. It's the same idea as if you built a machine learning model to predict what makes coffee trees grow well. You could repurpose the model with new inputs for corn or soybeans or things like that. So that's the answer. It's not an easy answer, and certainly in a YouTube video, not really giving anything away, but encouraging you to figure out in your own data, in your own analysis, in the software that you build, if you do build software, what is the process? What are the recipes? Who are the cooks? And are you leveraging those things with the tools and the data that you already have to build your own secret sauce, to create that recipe that only you know how to do, and bringing it to market? Bring those data products to market to say, yep, this is what we've got that is a differentiator from what everybody else in the market has. When you have that, it's a competitive advantage. So great question, Vincent. Interesting question. And it's one question that if you are not a data-driven company, if you are not analytics-driven or insights-driven or whatever you want to use the term for, it will be harder to compete. It'll be harder to compete against your competitors, because those competitors that do have this capability are very, very difficult to beat, because they've got an advantage. And so one of the things we urge people in our machine learning materials is to say, get started collecting your data now and building models now, because data piles up. Every day that you wait to start doing stuff is a day that you lose the ability to get that data. Whereas every day that you are at least collecting good quality data, you are building assets that you can then reuse later. So, as always, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and the newsletter. I'll talk to you soon. Want help solving your company's data analytics and digital marketing problems? Visit trustinsights.ai today and let us know how we can help you.